Welcome to ClubhouseNews.com. You're tuned in to Clubhouse News Weekend for the week ending Saturday, January 17th. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Pierce. On January 19th, we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day, honoring one of America's greatest civil rights leaders. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Christian preacher who advanced equal rights for blacks in the 1950s and 1960s, before his tragic assassination in the 1968 by James Earl Ray. He encouraged nonviolent civil disobedience, meaning his followers would often protest unfair laws by breaking them and risking arrest. He inspired a national movement that eventually resulted in laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which helped overturn unfair discrimination practices against blacks. After his legendary I Have a Dream speech during the 1963 March on Washington, in which he preached the value of compassion for your fellow man and the nobility of the human spirit. The Reverend became known as one of the greatest speakers of all time. In 1964, King was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts in fighting racial inequality with peaceful resistance.
The day after Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President Barack Obama delivered his 2015 State of the Union address. Every American president since Woodrow Wilson in 1913 has made at least one State of the Union speech, outlining the condition of the nation and their vision for its future. It's traditionally made every year in late January or early February, during a joint session of Congress when lawmakers from both the House of Representatives and the Senate come together. The practice comes from the USA's Constitution, the supreme law of the land. It states that a president shall, from time to time, give to Congress information of the State of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. In other words, the president needs to update everyone on how the country is doing and what can be done to fix its problems. Obama touched on several issues like America's job market, healthcare, education, and international relations.
On January 7th, Islamic terrorists attacked the Paris offices of Charlie Hebdo for making fun of their religion's founder, the Prophet Muhammad. As a show of support, 3.7 million people marched last week alongside 40 world leaders into the heart of Paris, holding a national unity rally that was the biggest public demonstration in France since World War II. Charlie Hebdo is a weekly newspaper known for its satire, which means using humor to criticize of political and religious ideas. Their cartoonists have drawn pictures of Muhammad, an act that Islamic followers believe is forbidden by Allah, Arabic for God. Artists from around the world protested the attack on free speech and offered support for their fallen French comrades, publishing cartoons and coining the phrase Je suis Charlie, or I am Charlie in French. Law enforcement officials quickly hunted down the Islamic gunmen, who took hostages and caused mayhem after their strike against Charlie Hebdo's offices. Islam is the second biggest religion in the world behind Christianity, and its followers are called Muslims. They believe major Christian and Jewish figures like Abraham and Jesus were prophets, and that Muhammad was the last and greatest prophet. Their holy book is called the Quran.